Hello, everyone. Now, today I want to talk about kids' media from when I was growing up to today, because I actually have some. Um, Probably I just get the main feature of this, I guess. The thing's fucking big, I guess. Yeah. Now, like I said, I want to talk about kids' content. What it was to me back in the day to now. I'm going from movies. Do I have any? Well, I do have the movie. From movies to shows to anime for kids. Like, yeah. Now, I will say, I guess for a content warning, I guess I may not fully talk about it because, I'm a grown up. And the channel I'm in for some adults or some teenagers if they want to hear some cussing, but whatever, mate. If that's up to you. So, anyways, let's talk about movies. I don't think I have any Disney movies. Let me get my tablet real quick. Now I got my tablet out. I'll talk about movies that I remember clearly. So I remember Princess and the Frog. I remember that from 2009. That's the first time I had watched it. Um, Brave from Disney. I watched that one like up from 2009. Cloudy Train Meatballs. Uh, I'd age him. That was before I was born, so yeah. Hotel Transylvania, Shrek. Uh, those are like kids friendly movies right there that I remember clearly. Now, on HBO Max, there's the Ghibli movies on there, like this one. Yes, I may have it on DVD format, and I love it on DVD format. Don't get me wrong, I love my DVDs because physical media is better than digital one because they will censor Spider-Man. Yes, that recently happened. So first, I want to give a topic. I want to talk about this for a minute. They kind of make me mad. So in Spider-Man 2002, the original one, there was a line that was cut out during the fight scene between Randy Savage, and Spidey. Before Spidey became Spidey, so Peter was wearing a custom-made suit. And Spidey says, ready for this? He says, "Did your husband make that cute dress for you? The cute clothes, right?" In the UK, they cut the husband part out and the cute dress thing. Why would you need to censor that for? Because it was insensitive. So what? I love Spider-Man. I love the original ones and Spider-Man No Way Home. Trust me, they're good movies. Naruto. Oh, bloody hell. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to go on a change on that movie because I love that one, okay? I've seen it so many times that I remember some scenes from it. Now, like I said, movie-wise, I talked about it, that ones I remember when I was growing up. Movies that I never grew up with, say like Turning Red. That's the newest movie, and it's not good. I heard it's good. Some people say it's okay. But to me, I don't care about it. I don't have any kids' books because I'm not a kid anymore, and also, why would I have kids' books? That's weird. Now, let's talk about cartoons and anime wise. Yes, I know I would talk about anime, but I may have to for it today. Now, this is Superman. This is Superman and Superman the animated series that came out. I don't know what year roughly, but it probably I think it was after the animated series for Batman. But the one I was watching growing up was Superman back in 1966. I am not joking. There was a show that was similar to this. Let me look it up. And I remember watching it back in the day. I think I owned it or something. But either for me, I can't spell word the shit, but that's just me. Let me look. Man. So some recent movies. Um. Let me see real quick. Let me see those real quick. I think it was. I think it was. Man, Superman. Let me look up the 1966 show. 1940s. I think it was that one. 1960s. The New Adventures of Superman. Ah, man, that's what I mean. Like, cause cartoon wise, I watched one Superman show. God, I haven't watched it in like 10 years or something. But like, that's what I mean. I can still remember Superman that I watched back in the day when I was a kid. And yet, that's amazing to remember still. Better than modern movies to sit there and say, we believe in pronoun, we believe in gender identity, we're gonna push the narrative of this and that. Anyone want to talk about that because it's somewhat interesting to me. So, the one I was watching a few years ago, it was Dragon Ball GT. Yes, I am not joking. I watched this one way back in the day. But don't get me wrong, GT I watched it so often because my friend would be playing it in the car with his little brother. I don't know why, but that's how I kept watching the damn show over and over again. It's not good as it used to be. Don't get me wrong. It's not as good. So yeah. Even for me, I can admit that at times it can be really hard to say that shit without saying whatever. So now a GT that I watched back in like 3 or 4 years ago or something. But I used to watch that back in the day, so yeah. Now, let me tell you about kids' books today. Sadly, the ones that I had growing up. Dr. Seuss. If anyone remembers that, then damn, we are both old. But this is what I mean. New cartoons and stuff like that. I want to get to the main point like a little bit after. But what I mean is, kids books wise, let's go back to the olden days of like 2000s, early 2000s. I'm gonna say 2000 and like I don't know. But the ones I had growing up were Dr. Seuss ones. Say Green Eggs and Ham. Fuck. To think about that one give me like a flashback to when I was growing up with that book. Phineas and Ferb had a book too. I remember that one clearly too. That was a good one too, man. See what I mean? Sorry, my back is like itchy as hell. But see what I mean is like kids books back in the day didn't care about this narrative about pronouns, lesbian, LGBTQ. And I wish we still had that, but sadly we don't. Since nowadays, let's go to. There's a lot of books that are sadly new. And probably because it is. And I would say this as someone who has seen many newer books, and I'm kind of tired of it. There were books about ABC to consent. which is sadly one of those books that are newer and focusing on the ABCs, but it's about the LGBTQ. One of them is B, or black. I am not joking. I wish I was, but dating black people. Huh. At that point, I'm gonna drink a whiskey. At that point, forget about that one. Seeing, and I saw the TikTok where this dad was. He said like he was going out to get some books for his kids and for his for I think for his I think for his son, I think. And he would just find like a regular book for kids, and I sympathize with him. Nowadays, you can't find those. So all you can find is this, but there's in that narrative. And sadly, even for him, he said even as a dad, he hates this. He said like he even for him, he said like I just want to find no more kids book just for my kids. And sadly, we can't have that. And I wish we so did because hell, I would love that, but sadly we can't. Because nowadays media gotta focus. This is the main point I'm getting at. Nowadays, for kids, I feel sorry for them. I just feel sorry for them of what they could be taught today, and I'm tired of it. I wish we could just go back to the day of having movies go back to something simple. Like I said, the narrative of movies like these that are meant for kids does not force the narrative down your not force the narrative down your fucking gullet. Shows that are already meant to be there for kids to teach them like the ABCs. And the main point of this video is that I was thinking about it, I'm like, why can't we have stuff like we did back in the day? I mean, people from the 90s to the 80s to the 70s. Your media has always been my favorite, no matter what. Even in horror movie wise. I may talk about horror movies one day in general. Because I have so many of them, I could probably stack them up and probably show you how many I could do. But what I mean is that the satire of this is that these movies, shows, and with cartoons, they have been getting worse and worse. By forcing this narrative, you gotta be gay, trans, non-binary, and I'm tired of it. Shows I grew up with, Steven Universe. Yes, it had a narrative of showing of how people can be gay. Mixer, and that show actually shows it in a good way. I watched the first season and the second season. I watched that one a while back, and I probably can't rewatch it again because I'm tired of this shit again. Okay, but what I mean is that stuff like this is tiring to everyone. And nowadays, cartoons, say on Cartoon Network, even Disney, they literally fucking said that promote that they're going to the agenda, their agenda of programming could be trans, non-binary, and all this stuff. And I'm like, why? Why do you want to do that? Are you going to keep pushing people away from watching your shit? And I'm like, kids of today are just gonna feel like kids of the past of my age and the kids before me. We're growing up watching shows, movies, and stuff like that. Having fun with it and didn't care about a narrative. But sadly, we can't have that nowadays because that's too offensive or too modernized. Or they could say that it's not age well when in reality, some things that I watched, like Superman back in the day, it aged like a fine wine. Say like movies like this one that I have, My Neighbor Totoro. This one is like very fine wine. It's very good. And I wish we still had media like this where they cared about the audience, not forced its narrative. So, sorry, got a little more sadder because the truth of it is that people are tired of it. I'm sorry for that, but in reality, tell me what you think about this, and also, go fuck yourself.